Welcome to another episode of Encrypted Minds, an episode about entrepreneurs in high-tech, cybersecurity, and technology in a broader sense. I'm very happy with my guest today, Mikael Seppälä. I may call him Mikki. That is more easy for myself. Mikki is an entrepreneur in what I can say, a global solution for global problems in the water treatment systems. And I think, Mikki, although your company is not that big, you're all a multinational, working across the globe, multiple projects across multiple time zones, multiple continents. And once again, I would like to thank you for being on the podcast, Mikki. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hey, thank you very much, Edwin, to invite me to this podcast. That I'm really thrilled to talk with you and share my wisdom of the water to the rest of you people. That and they thank you for your nice words that of the introduction that made them. Luckily, you don't see me, but I'm blushing in here at the moment. And they. Yeah. You're touching the right thing. Yes, we are a global company. And just in the morning, I received an email from Philippines. I chat with the people from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Yesterday, I had a meeting with the delegation from Emirates. Of course, as we know, the situation there is not that pleasant, should we say? But hopefully it will be improved in the later dates. And in Chile, I think is our westernmost country that we work in, Europe as well.
Yeah, well, nice. Well, Mikki, we're going to discuss your company in depth in a couple of moments. First of all, can you just introduce yourself from a personal perspective? What have you done before you became the entrepreneur, the CEO of SansOx? And your journey towards the position you currently have.
I think that my journey to the point that I'm at the moment, I think that the best or what I've done in before was just the preparations for this position where I am. That all the, should I say, skills and education, competence that I have gained in between last 40 years, that the ICE have a kind of educating me and training me to what I'm doing today, because that I have to use a lot of different talents and they to fight those problems, challenges what we're facing today. And my background is probably somebody can a little bit pick up. I studied in Finland, of course, in the startup, and then I started playing football, American football, and I was recruited to university in California, where I played and learned the language, pick up the accent. It's just losing too many years ago and too many kilos ago. And then I got my first degree in States, and then I got my second degree here in Finland as well, of a master's economics. And then they be working. You could call me a serial entrepreneur or startup enthusiastic, or of an idiot who thinks that they working as entrepreneur makes you rich, but they all love it. But and they I would not work in a if I would say in any kind of a institute or this of a what you call the multinational and in big enterprises, that I will not fit in that bracket or in that box. They will tear me down, or I will tear them down.
Yeah.
Either way. In the morning, I had a wife, at least, so that I'm still married. I hope even today, even at the moment. And then you know, the world is changing so fast, you never know. And they two kids, two children, grown-up children. The other one is one of the most famous DJs in Helsinki, playing of electronic music. And my daughter is getting her doctorate at the age of 28 in the next year, so that I am really proud that she did not get the brains from me. It has to be her mother.
All right. You're quite modest, so it seems you have a good family, a lot of people to be proud of. But it also is the case for SansOx, because you're serving so many customers with your technology and your services. Um, can you elaborate a little bit about what SansOx is doing for in the water treatment industry?
Yeah. It's just in water treatment that they. I'm trying to tell that we're not cleaning the water, we're treating the water. But the water treatment. This is a much better word for the what we do, and what I think everybody else is actually doing at the same time, because cleaning the water is a little bit of a problematic to define. When you have clean water, giving you an example. If I and Edwin will go to Africa to safari, and we get thirsty, and we go and drink a little bit of water from the river or from the pond, I'm quite sure that we will not make back to the hotel before we have to go use the bathroom. What about the elephant who was drinking the same water?
Yes.
So it was clean water for that one, but not for us. So was it clean? So treat the water so that it can be fit to the use where it's supposed to go. If it's for the human consumption, then it has to be clean. But if it's just for the irrigation purposes, of course, you have to be safety on that side. If it goes to just have God, losing the English in here, cooling system. So then it don't have to be anything else but cold water. It can be whatever standard.
I see,
That's it.
With regards of your example, I just had the idea. I'm just not a specialist, but I also had the idea that it's something to do with our body itself. We are quite spoiled in the West with the cleanness of the water, that we just cannot handle water in other countries.
That's right. That they still, unfortunately, the problem of clean water is that practically today, Europe, in any country, in any town, you can go and drink the water from the tap. We both can be proud that the Dutch Nordic countries, Northern Europe is for sure is a safety place. You can drink from the tap. You will not get a tummy ache. You will not get anything else but the water what you need. But then we leave the Europe, and then we are hitting the problems. And the problem is not actually in the water. It's partly a big part of it comes from the distribution of the water. That the water kind of it's clean when it leaves the treatment plant or the facility, but it does get contaminated on the way to your tap. And also that creates the other problem, which is of a environmental issue, more or less, that we drink too much of water from the plastic bottles because we don't trust or we don't believe, we don't want to. It's dangerous actually for your health to drink from the tap, but to distribute a liquid in the bottle is most stupid things in the world. It has to be in a pipelines when we talk about masses of water. Wine is different thing, or beer, okay, they can be in the barrels.
Yes.
But water, it has to be in the pipelines. And always I'm making small, not a joke, but we have to remember that the biggest pollution in our rivers, in our oceans is the plastic bottle. About 80% of the plastic in those places is that small half-a-liter plastic bottle.
So this is the true problem with drinking water from plastic bottles. The waste.
Yeah, it creates waste, and the biggest of sorry to say that the biggest of the producers of these ones is three companies. Two ends with cola, and one is a Swiss company which makes coffee usually. Not mentioning more of the names. So if we can make the people to drink from the tap, Californians don't drink it from the tap because they are afraid of the Trump has make a microchip in there, or of the people in East Coast of the U.S. thinks that they say the Democrats or somebody else is. But anyhow, they are just diluted on these stupid ideas of the unsafetyness of drinking or tap water, where it can be drinked.
So, but it's actually weird. So we have the problem of the waste, But
Yes.
also from an economical perspective, it doesn't make sense to buy the expensive water in the bottles, while tap water is, like you said, healthy, at least in our countries, Northern Europe,
Yes.
and 1,000 times cheaper.
That's exactly here. Well, again, Finland is rated as a number one what comes to the water safety, what comes to the water quality. We rank in top. Well, again, I must say that the Nordic countries and added with the Netherlands, I think we are always in any kind of index, we are top 10. But in here we are number one when it comes to the WHO standards of the water. Lakes, rivers, groundwater is in perfect shape. Unfortunately, we are losing that situation here as well. But anyhow, Helsinki tap water was in the blind test was selected as the best tasting water among all these mega brands, which I will again don't mention. But so why we drink water from the bottle?
Is it marketing?
It's marketing. Of course, you have to carry something in there. That I remember that was about 10 years ago. We have this universal sport event for university students. It was held in our big city called Turku, and all the comers they were given a bottle, empty bottle, half liter, perfect, nicely looking bottle with the logos and everything on it, and everybody was told that once you need water, take the tap water and fill this. Half the people was like shocked how I can drink it, but in here you can.
Yeah, and those are people from abroad.
They were, like global event.
Yeah. So that's, if I may make the step towards your company, is it a coincidence, or what is the reason that your company originated from Finland while the water is so clean already? You did not solve. You did not have to solve a problem because the water was already clean.
In the way, no, that we have done our mistakes as well at the in the early days, and we need to fix those mistakes. For example, again, this of a city called Turku that it was not earlier than 1980, which they introduced a wastewater treatment system to the municipality wastewater, and that was the last city of Finland that they introduced that one. So the whole wastewater systems, even in Finland or in Europe, somewhere else, they are relatively new. And they, I said that we have done mistakes in here and there, but luckily we were able to correct those ones, and the whole world is now following us. But still, there's always room for improvement. But at the same time, as we have done it, so we have the experience. It was easy to copy something and improve it a little bit, and because we are, maybe somebody would know that hey, I've always said that if you need something to get done, put the Finnish engineer to the work, and it will get done. They will come up with a solution, and they maybe not so soon, but later anyhow, and they so yeah, that's maybe that the Finnish entrepreneurship, Finnish innovative way of thinking. The engineers put those in the same box, shake it a little bit, and you come up with the beautiful ideas of how to, for example, how to treat the water. And they, well, again, my job maybe is of trying to be kind of the middleman between the users and the people who are facing those other issues, whereas the engineers are innovating and I am trying to, make them to speak the same language.
Yes. All right. I see. So you made quite some steps from the conception of your company to where you are right now.
Yes.
What is the exact problem you're solving to these customers? Because you're talking to so many people across the globe.
We started that it's a long story, but we started in the beginning. We started from the thinking a little bit of what is the wastewater systems. Again, maybe I have to drop a small statistics, but they think about it that 80% of the wastewater on this planet will go back to the nature without any treatment. Raw.
80%.
80%, not 80%. This is practically everything. But so in the wastewater treatments, how we are doing it today, about 50% of the energy consumption, what they do, and they are actually using quite a lot of energy, but it's not making the world different that if we will stop using them, but otherwise, the waters will get more polluted. But anyhow, 50% of the energy consumption comes in there, what we call the aeration. And the aeration is needed in the process that when we take out, Heyman term, we take out the phosphorus and nitrogen, which is not those elements that we want to be in the nature because they will make them grow too fast. The water bodies that we release at the treated water will kind of start growing too fast, and it's one of the pollution. There's some other things in there as well what we are taking out in there, but these are the main elements. And for that purpose, it's bacteria that is eating these elements. And the bacteria, it's a living person, or not the person, but the living thing. It needs oxygen for the life. And that's the reason why we use aeration. So we tackle this problem. Okay, if we can find out a new way to aerate those tanks, maybe we can cut, half of the energy consumption down. And so that was the kind of the fundamentals where we started the whole thing, and the engineers put to the task, and a few doctors and professors were involved in there, and we came up with our solution, and then we kind of faced small, should we say, a problem that a positive problem that it fitted into too many places, from drinking water to the municipality wastewater, mines, paper and the pulp business, anywhere where the water is treated, that our device can be used for the benefit of whatever. And that creates the problems that where we're going to concentrate. As you know, that they may be, as a startup or as a newcomer, you should focus a little bit on something, just one thing. That's what I've been learning from the in here. But now we kind of hugging all the trees in the forest because we need the money, and hey, this sounds good, let's go there, and now that one, and let's go that one, then we forget the previous one, and but yeah, so that was at the start, and the aeration is really, because aeration, you could probably hear that we talk about oxygen. Actually, air is not enough sometimes. Then we used real oxygen. In some cases, we even put ozone in.
Okay.
In there. But that, I will not go into details. But that helps the process of pretty much of anything. As I said, from the lake restoration. If your lake, your pond, your golf course of a small pond in there is in bad shape, it smells, it maybe even bubbles because there's so much of the gases coming out of it. Add oxygen or add air, and you start solving the problem.
And how long did it take before you finalize this jigsaw, when you solve the solution? Because it sounds pretty easy if you say it like this. Just put
it's the process. Let's say that the innovative side is still ongoing. It probably will never stop because, as I said, that we find these new ways. Just in the morning, we talked with the copper mine in Kazakhstan, that if we start using our systems, first of all, the wastewater, what they are releasing to the river, that will be in a better shape. They get maybe 10-15% better result from the mining itself, meaning that from the ore, they get more copper. The same applies to the gold mine.
Is this one of the pain points you solve for your end customers? Because what is the main driver for your business? Is this the environmental laws? Is it environmental conscious?
It's really, yeah. That's a good question, because that kind of you put me right now in tough position. That or you put me, I will start complaining now. I'm trying to always be positive, but right now I have to be really pessimistic. That I do understand that in the old days, 60s and 70s, we thought that whatever we put in the ground, we put in the water, it will disappear.
Yes.
Now we have learned a little bit more that we know it doesn't happen. So we do a lot of things that improve the situation what we have done in 60s, and now we should do things that not in the same way that we did in 60s. But then comes this but. Nobody's doing anything unless it's regulated or demanded by somebody. Because wastewater or water treatment, there's no money. Because the people don't value the water because it's free.
Yes.
It rains down. And the people are not willing to invest to the any kind of infrastructure or anything like that is helping the water business, because it's eventually it's business.
Yes.
It's essential business, but it's still business. And somebody has to cover the charges. Either it's tax money is paid, it's the taxpayers' money, or then it's paid by the users or something like that. But for example, that the example of this regulation, that we came up with a solution that we can take out pharmaceutical residues.
Yes.
In the Baltic Sea, which is a small sea in here, 1,800,000 kilograms of medicines or pharmaceuticals goes in there every year. And I don't know what aspirin is doing in Baltic Sea. The salmon probably don't have a headache, or E-pill. That again, maybe the herring doesn't probably need the birth control, but because of we using it, those whatever medicines, and half of that goes to the wastewater, to our system first, and then it goes through that wastewater system and ends up in the river again, in the lake, in the sea, in the ocean.
What do you think? You made the joke, you start complaining about the business itself. Is it because of people are unaware of these spillover effects? Or is it through a mean approach that they want to socialize the problem? What do you think?
You touched those the 2 points that I think first of all they're not aware, and then those people who are aware, they don't have the means to do it, or they don't have the money or means to do it. I said we came up with this beautiful solution. It's not too expensive, let's say that way, and we called all the Finnish facilities in here, 250 units. None was interesting about it because it's not in the regulation. You don't have to react on it yet. Now, happily, EU is now pushing forward that one, but think about it. What the hell, a medicine or pharmaceutical aspirin, an easy one, it doesn't belong to the nature.
No, but this is, I'm often quite, I am criticizing the European Union, but this seems to be quite a good step towards awareness or solving issues we won't see. But if in 250 cases nobody's interested, we had this conversation before. I'm a quite positive guy about the mankind, but this is quite saddening.
Yeah, yes, and it is more or less that you don't, because water is so common, it is so close to us that we don't see the trees of the forest.
No.
And I'm always also making a kind of small joke that if I'm asking you how much you pay for your water at your house, you probably don't know, or how much you spend in liters per day of the water, you probably still you don't know. But if I'm asking you from how much you pay for electricity or how much you're using the electricity, you know it by kilowatt and you know it by cent.
Exactly. And now, as a coincidence, I need to report my how do you say, my meter. I want to say my meter to translate it directly. I need to report to the water company what I've been using the last year, and I just need to take a picture of my of the usage.
Yeah.
It turns out that we as a family have used almost 1.8 million liters of water since we just start living here. 1.8 million. That is amazing. Incredible.
Yes, and think about it. That when we look on the total consumption of where human beings, again, the planet, we people, where we use the water, it's 10%. What you just said. That's 10% of the
10%.
total consumption.
Yeah. The factories using water, the data center, that's now a topic, but also farmland.
But that again, that's 20%.
That's only 20%.
Yeah, so that combine those two, that's 30% of the water consumption. 70% goes to agriculture.
70% of this total and it counts for every person.
Yeah, and we don't drink; we eat the water. An average person today, let's say in Western world, your daily consumption of water is 2,000 liters per day per person.
1,000 per person.
Per person.
That is mind blowing.
Yes, well, we do have enough of water in here, but unfortunately, it's salty. We have plenty of oceans, we have plenty of seas, but we don't use it. We cannot cultivate anything out of it. Fish loves it.
Yeah,
and that's also the one of the problems that we don't see the footstep or the footprint of the water, that where actually it comes from and how it comes to our table. And then how it leaves, we know then maybe how it leaves us, but we don't know that where it came from. That you Dutch people, you grow half of our food in there. But if you think about that, if you bring up one cucumber from Spain, what do you actually bring it? You bring 1 kilo of cucumbers, you bring 1 liter of water.
Yes.
Cucumbers, 98% of water. Now, what is happening in Spain?
Yeah, if you think about it. So we spend fuel to bring a liter of water to the grocery
Up to place that you don't need.
We don't need. Yeah, that as well. So before we jump into your personal journey as an entrepreneur, because I can also understand that sometimes it's frustrating, because if you know these numbers, and you have such a hard time to sell your solution to company, because and the results are proven. You need to treat the water because we're polluting the water, we're polluting each other, we're polluting the environment. So what kind of companies nowadays mainly interested in your solution? You mentioned
it's right now that I think we kind of, maybe I'm letting out a small secret, but luckily, happily, I'm seeing that there's a turn. There's a switch towards more environmental friendly issues, let's say, put that way, and that comes from the supply chain. That they previously, everybody was more or less looking for the money in that sense, that if we have to make water treatment, if we have to somehow do something tricks to the water, that will be a cost side. How we can avoid that cost, how we can kind of go under the limit or just meeting the limit. As I'm always saying that in wastewater treatment, we have these goals that we have to meet. Why those goals has to be the maximum? Why they are not minimum? This is what you have to do.
Yes.
But you can, move up as much as you like. But now, right, everybody's just hitting that target what was given to you by local authorities. So that that was previous. But now and surprising, this is starting actually from those areas and places we don't think should act like they're doing, meaning Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Far East, Southeast Asia. Those areas are actually screaming for better water quality. And the push, it's not from the people. Well, actually, it's from the people, but it's actually from the European consumers.
The European consumers are moving.
Yeah, they are switching that the supply chain for example, a small Swedish company called IKEA.
Yes,
they probably everybody knows that. So that they are our client in Bangladesh, because their code of conduct has to be fit throughout the whole supply chain.
So this is a good thing. And what do you think what moved IKEA? Is this the regulations? Is it just also the awareness of the people? Because the supply chain, it is a question from the consumers.
It's consumers, and they want to be environmental friendly company, and they want to respect, and they want to kind of restore the footstep. What they are kind of damaging the nature. As everybody, we do some damage always when we even living, but anyhow, they want to compensate that, and if nothing else, they will not do any more harm. And of course, that comes also from the consumers. In Finland or in Europe, that's it's not so well known, but it was introduced long time ago. We have this a people called LOHAS, LOHAS, Life of Health and Sustainability. Surprisingly, you can probably believe this started from California, health and sustainability. So their purchases are based on these two things, health or sustainability. And they're putting a lot of pressure on supply chain.
Which is eventually good for your business, good for the planet?
It's good for us. It's good for my business. It's good for the planet. It's good for everybody. So that I'm hoping there will be more and more that kind of pressure towards those companies because it looks like the government or the politicians are not kind of listening to what we should do.
I see what
but luckily the consumers are.
So in the Netherlands, we have a saying that says you've got the wind in the sails. I'm translating directly because now you're heading in the right direction, and you got some positive effects on regulations, awareness of people, consumer pressure, also to improve the supply chains. Where do you want to go with your company in 3 years from now?
Right now that we're making a small switch of, as explained, that the operational side is not that, or the engineering side of is not that sexy. So that we're looking for more on that the environmental issues and the sustainability, and we even have changed that to whom we talk to. We in the companies who are more or less handling the water, they have the water in their process or in their supply chain. We talk with sustainability managers or environmental people within the companies, and because they understand the value, and they put the pressure within the company to those operators.
Do you have a regular sales operations also within your company? How does it work? How is the dynamics of deal shaping?
We select a group of companies, and we just kind of mass email with the good text, good web system, talking with the results what we have seen. But the emphasis is actually on that environmental side of the sustainability side, that if your company will start using our product or our systems, your sustainability will increase.
So what are the typical roles you talk to when you enter a new prospect?
Yeah, it's pretty much that they, luckily, in a lot of places it goes mouth to mouth. That they, for example, in Pakistan, we talk with the one factory, and when the factory next door heard that what we're doing, they called us because they have the same pressure, not from the government, not from the supply chain.
Which is quite a good thing. You know, my job is also to do outbound and find new customers for my clients. But weirdly enough, is that most of the companies spend 90% of the budget to find new contacts, while simultaneously most of the business come from references. So you need to nurture this kind of things, and you're an actual example of how you can just grow your business, do what you promise to do, fulfill your promises, and you got word of mouth. So that's the next step, which is a good thing. With regards of your personal journey, Mikki, because you have some challenges, 2 steps ahead and 1 step back. What are some lessons you've learned in the past couple of years as an entrepreneur?
Maybe the biggest learning was, again, maybe on personal side of me, that when I started the whole business, and maybe it was more like, hit and run. So start up, 5 years, sell it with the big money. But now it started looking like maybe we don't even want to sell it anymore because we have seen this small green person within ourselves and a whole team that has been growing so big that we don't want to give up the fight and the in that fight making some money to ourselves as well towards that we can have more environmental friendly, we can have more sustainability on this planet. What comes to the water, what comes to any business, and also that the water is actually kind of funny and fun area to be with because 95% of the business on this planet is dependent on water.
True.
So you have 360 degrees of kind of opportunities, and you hear from energy business, agriculture, fish farming, pulp and paper, even car manufacturing, they have water in there. So you hear a lot of things from different industries, and you learn a lot while talking with this kind of a multiple different type of persons and companies.
Yeah. This is some good advice. Just talk to people, learn, adapt, and improve. Just never give up. All right, this is also good advice. Just I'm enjoying this conversation, Mikki. I can just continue for hours, also to learn about your business. To close our podcast, what is the advice you will give to the people who are listening to this podcast, or what kind of advice would you have given the younger Mikki?
Yeah, I would say that they really don't concern so much of your shower and your coffee water. That means that what we drink and they use in our daily life. Look over that one and see that where the water comes from and how we can protect that water and how we can make it that water is lasting. And I mean the water that goes to the farming, because I'm a little bit of a big guy in that sense that I can lose a little bit of weight, but eventually I need food, and everybody needs food, and so how we can really help the people and help the planet in that way that we will have enough of water in those places where the food can grow, like Spain. Spain is drying out. They don't have enough water, but they have sunshine. They have beautiful weather to grow anything, but they are lacking the water. How we can get the water back to Spain, for example. So looking at a little bit on that, or of your cotton shirt that you buy from the H&M, 2,000 liters of water has been involved in the production.
Production of a cotton shirt.
Yeah, but not saying that you should stop buying it, but just give it a thought.
Give it a thought. Yeah, all right. That is food for thought. I think this is a perfect closure also for this topic, Mikki. I know you are quite a busy guy working across the globe in different time zones. So I really appreciate it that you could find an hour just to talk us through your business.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I just love to share my knowledge or my whatever to all who can and want to hear.
Now, maybe we can agree to do a follow-up in a couple of, maybe next year, because water is top of mind for a lot of people from an environmental pressure. Now, you did not even mention the war currently, where the water is being put aside because it's so important for the people. You have a clear opinion about this as well. Maybe we can just have a follow-up soon. But for now,
love to hear, and they are really looking forward to one, because we just make a small scratch on the paint. So there's plenty to talk about.
Let's do that. All right. Thank you so much, Mikki. And we talk. You're welcome. Bye.